So welcome. Tonight's topic is There is Wisdom Within, and assorted other junk. I usually come up with topics based on stuff that I'm wrestling with right now, so we'll see what happens. But I have learned that the best place to start is right here. So have a seat. Sit down in a comfortable position. Allow your eyes to drift closed if you can. And settle in, meaning you're going to be here for a half an hour. You've got nothing else you're responsible for right now, I hope. So settle into your seat, breathing in deeply, pausing and letting that air back out. As you find your comfortable seat, try leaning just a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Try leaning a little forward and backward, trying to find that nice center place where your body will naturally feel balanced. If you have the sort of back that wants the back of the chair to lean against, by all means, make yourself comfortable. Do what your body needs to do. Breathing in deeply is the first signal to your central nervous system that it's a safe time. So rather than going first to our mind and thinking, I've got to get calm, I've got to slow down, if you're thinking about thinking differently, you're not going to have a great effect. Use your body's natural systems, the central nervous system. A deep breath is the first signal to the central nervous system that you're in a safe place, that there isn't an emergency. There's no reason to be in fight or flight, wound up, ready to go. A deep breath means it's rest and restore time. And as soon as you start breathing just a little more deeply, the heart sends messages to the brain saying, hey, let's slow down. Everything's okay right now. And your whole system will start to settle in. So you're just breathing a little more deeply, and you're just breathing with awareness. It simply means pay attention to your breath, because your breath is happening in this moment. And as we meditate, it's very powerful to keep your attention right here in this moment. This moment is where you live. It's the only moment of your life that you can take action in. You can't take action about that thing that happened last week. And you can't do anything about that thing that's coming next week. Whether you're envisioning something wonderful or something scary, still nothing you can do. But when you think about moments other than this moment, you are totally ineffective and you're missing the gifts of this moment. So breathing in and breathing out, and just noticing the feel of the air as it flows in over through your nose. The gentle feel as your lungs expand, your belly expands, and as you breathe out, savoring that feeling of letting go. You're releasing the air that is used and not needed, but it's a perfect opportunity to let go of anything else. And when your mind wanders, as it will, take the role of just an observer or a reporter when you notice where your mind wanders to. And what that means is a reporter takes note of what's going on without getting all emotionally enmeshed in it. And as we're meditating, if you notice where your mind goes, oh, I'm worrying again, and report that fact. You don't have to throw yourself into the worry pit and get lost. Just note what's going on, and then gently call your mind back. Meditation isn't stopping the thought. Meditation is learning to direct the thought, paying attention to the thought, and learning tools that truly can help you direct and manage thoughts and emotions. And as you're breathing in and out, instead of focusing on your busy brain, allow your attention to drift down, 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 down into the center of your chest, the location of your heart, the pump in your body, but also an energetic center, a heart center in the middle of your chest. The physical heart, the organ, the heart, is incredibly powerful beyond its function that you're aware of. It sends messages, more messages up to your brain than your brain sends down to the body. The heart is your center of deeper emotion. So why stay up in that busy, busy brain? Allow yourself to float down into your heart. Here is where you'll find love, compassion, empathy, caring. You don't deeply care about something with all of your brain. But your heart, oh yeah, your heart's the manager of all those deeper things. So allowing your attention to settle down in there. And as you breathe in, imagine you're breathing right into that center. It's an imagining sort of thing, a visualizing sort of thing, pulling the energy and the air right into here. And filling and energizing that source of your deeper emotions. So deeper breathing and attention down into the heart center gives a direct message to that busy brain that, calm down, we've got this, settle down, and rest. And this is simply a process, and we're practicing that process. Because some days, every 3 seconds, it'll feel like your mind wanders off. And that's normal. It's normal. It doesn't mean you can't meditate. Meditation is practicing these skills in a quiet time like now, so that when out in the real world the crap hits the fan, you've got this experience. We've got this tool that you know to take a deep breath, pull your attention down, pause for a moment, then you can respond as the shit flies by. Instead, the opposite is to react out of your head. And we've all had that experience. Something happens and you open your mouth and something comes out and you have to apologize and it wasn't your best self and it wasn't your best solution. So pausing, breathing, that deep breath signaling your central nervous system that everything's okay, gives you that moment to respond. So that's why we're practicing. We're not practicing to do it perfectly. Although I will tell you, in time, this sitting practice can turn into a really lovely experience. Something you might look forward to. Something that's an important part of self-care. So I'll leave you for a few minutes just to practice on your own. Breathing into the heart center. allowing your attention to drift down to that heart area. And when your mind wanders, just call it back. Like you'd call back a small child you love. Come on back here, we're doing this right now. It's okay. And if your brain is busy, just focus on the breath, how it feels. Pulling in fresh energy, fresh air, and letting go of that which you don't need right now. And if your eyes were closed, float them back open. Take this moment to scan your body a little bit. Notice if you feel any different than when we sat down. I feel better. I always do. When I sit down to do this, there's always that frantic last minute. It's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? Just chill. So the topic, there is wisdom within and other junk also, is intended for people in recovery, but also for all of us. I think in transformative times like these are, and yes, I think we are in a time of transformation. I believe that better things are coming, that we are all waking up a bit to the fact that the world that we have built, this world that honors money and power and is filled with greed and a lack of regard for life, I believe that world is crumbling. And as any change, those in power will struggle to stay in power, and there's going to be a lot of shifting. But I do believe, and I'm not the only one, there's a large number of people in this world, on this planet, who believe strongly and clearly and with great hope that there's a better world coming. One where we'll get back to this idea that we need to navigate life through the heart, that we are responsible for one another, just as others will care for us when we're down. We're here to feed those who need fed and comfort those who need comforted. That is the world that's coming. And I want to be a part of that. I hope to play a role, and I know you'll play a role too. Each in our own way. And there's no reason to go out and parade down the streets with a banner that says peace, love, and rock and roll, unless that's your jam, of course, go for it. But we'll bring this change by changing ourselves, by learning to turn within, to settle ourselves. You could run from workshop to workshop and guru to guru and book to book, seeking somebody who's going to fix you, but you know what? It's your job. You can sit in a meeting, you can have a sponsor or a mentor or a psychiatrist to help you get started on a path of changing your life. But ultimately the work falls on you. And this experience of sitting in meditation and turning your attention down within, down in this heart center, as I mentioned as we opened, there's a lot of power. And I mentioned that that is the seat of your deeper emotions. And in our world today, There is much more focus on what do you know, connections, making stuff happen, how much money do you have, how much stuff do you have? That's all head stuff. Down here, it's different. And there's the connection between the two seems to have gotten strained. But when you can turn your attention down there and practice, what you will find is there is wisdom there. Now, many people, especially those who have had trauma and challenge and giant piles of shit in their lives, often are afraid to look within. And I understand that. My life hasn't been perfect either. I created a lot of crap, and I lived with a lot of violence and abuse a long time ago. You get afraid to look within because you think you're wrecked within, but you're not. You today are not your history. Yeah, stuff happens to all of us, but that's not who you are today. You are not today who you were yesterday, let alone who you were when you were 12. So many of us carry a self-image with us as adults that we formed pre-puberty, maybe? When did you decide who you are? Oh, I'm shy. Oh, I'm clumsy. Oh, I'm no good at that. When you're a kid trying to navigate school, trying to navigate social situations, and some guy bullies you and you suddenly feel like an ineffective human being, and now 40 years later you're still walking around as though you're ineffective. That's not true. You aren't your history. And it's okay to let go of that stuff. And a way to reconnect, yeah, partly with that little kid who kind of went into hiding when school was tough and maybe home was tough, maybe relationships were tough. But going within, you're not going to find anything other than that little you maybe huddled in a corner going, whoa, I'm hiding from all that shit. But you're also going to find your wisdom. And the reason that it's so important for you to find your wisdom is because we're all unique. And it's easy for your brain will say, yeah, I'm unique. All right, I've made some stuff happen. Let me tell you those stories. But you came into this world as a brand new little human being with unique skills and amazing potential. You probably as a kid had dreams of being who knows what. I used to think I could be Superman. Maybe I can. I always wanted to be an artist, but I knew that was no way to make a living. I somehow knew that I would end up helping people with basic skills of life. And here I am, 67 years later, kind of doing that stuff. You have different skills in you, but they're unique. And I think you came here because of those skills. You've got a job to do. And this doesn't mean you're going to go out and change thousands of people's lives, but doing small things your way, in your unique way, from the heart, with kindness and great love, is how we're going to change this world. And it also does a whole lot to change your self-concept. You aren't that kid you were when you were in middle school, all dorky and pimply and clumsy. And okay, some of us are still dorky, but it's charming, don't you think? My point is, there's stuff inside that we sometimes are afraid to look at because we think we're bad, or we think we're wrecked, or we think we're ruined. And oh, my friends, you're not. The stuff that happened to you in life, yeah, some of it you probably instigated. Some of it came from outside of you, and some of it was horrifically ugly. And if you've got trauma inside and have never sought real therapy for it, go get some help. Oh my God, I've spent my time in therapy. and in a mental hospital and in a little more therapy. But you are not those things that happen to you. And often they're long ago, and here we find ourselves 20, 30, 40 years later still identifying with, well, yeah, I'm a victim of abuse. Yeah, but you're so much more. Bad things happened and good things happen. Pull your attention into the now. Go within into that heart center and realize, seek, and listen. Because there's a wise being in there that probably hasn't gotten enough of your attention. And that wise being is you. If you believe in a God outside of you, your hotline to that God is in here. I feel like I'm part of this source of the universe, of creation in general. And I came from that. That lives in me. And I get to be that living example of that in the world. And so can you. That is a gift everybody's got, which is most people aren't aware. So taking this calm time to turn within and listen to your own little old wise Yoda that lives in here is a great resource for you in this life. So let's go back and do a little more practice. So allow your eyes to close again. Settling into that comfortable seat. Scanning through your body to make sure everything is still comfortable. Breathing in and breathing out. Settling in for a bit of time. Allowing your attention again to drift down into that heart center of your body. Breathing in and out. Right into that heart chakra, heart center. And as you fill that heart center with air and energy, allow yourself to call to mind someone you love, something you care deeply for, some experience that moved you in a beautiful way. And don't just think about that thing or that person or that furry friend. Allow the feeling to fill you. Experience that beautiful place again. Fill yourself with that love so that it radiates outside of you. Filling that heart center with that deep positive emotion. And yes, the mind will still wander a bit. Often it tries to drag you off to some not so positive emotion. But just like before, note where it goes and gently call it back. I often say I'm going to ask my mind to go sit in the corner with a coloring book because I've got meditation to do. And let your attention settle back into the heart center. And call to mind that powerful positive emotion and allow it to fill you with each breath more and more. And when you breathe out, that positive emotion doesn't leave you, but the next breath can bring in even more energy to that positive emotion. This positive energy that's filling you is actually measurable. People can feel it outside of you, just so they can sense when your negative emotions are filling you too. So allow the positive power to fill you and just listen. You're not so much listening with your ears. You're listening with your imagination. Sometimes I get glimmers of ideas. Like, where did that come from? Maybe my wiser self is talking to me. Or maybe you'll remember some wonderful memory of your grandma who isn't even on the planet anymore. Maybe she's talking to you. Or maybe you're remembering things that you might have been taught by those who love you. And your wiser self is calling those things back. And then, yeah, I understand that your mind might be up there going, yeah, but you're just a bozo. Give your mind the coloring book, send it back to the corner. This is heart-centered focus. Don't expect to settle into your heart and have no distractions. It's a constant give and take, back and forth, wandering brain back to the heart, filling with positive energy. Oops, remembering the dumb thing I did last week. That's all normal. That's how this works. You just want to keep most of the focus on the positive, most of the focus on the heart center. Filling yourself with that love, that compassion, that empathy, that awe. And all the while, not demanding an answer to a question, but just being open to information that you may find in that heart center. And again, this is a developed skill. It's a new habit to build. You don't have to do it for a half hour. Taking a couple minutes during lunch, a couple minutes in the morning rather than turning on the news. In time, you'll find your comfort down here in your heart center, filling yourself with love, the feelings of compassion and caring, feelings of awe and wonder. And if your eyes were closed, bring them back open. Your attention back to this room, back to this time together. That little practice is a skill that I learned through an organization called HeartMath, HeartMath.com. They have a free workshop online right now to teach 5 skills, basic skills that they use. But in using these sorts of skills through biofeedback technology, which I'm actually going to have at my office soon, you can actually watch what this does to the variation in your heart rate, which is an indicator of how stressed you are. This practice really chills you out. So practice it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sitting with me tonight. Take a little time for yourself every day. Self-care in this way, through meditation and calming, builds your resilience, builds your immune system, and makes you feel a whole lot better. So, until I see you again, take care. Bye-bye.